Tack så mycket. Även om vi ska byta till engelska nu, jag vill först tacka möjligheten att vara här i Vinnovas årskonferens. Det har varit redan mycket intressant att lyssna diskussion. Jag tror att Sverige och Finland båda är världens framgångsrika innovationsländer. Men det är viktigt att samarbeta, men det är också viktigt att lära från den andra landets erfarenheter. Men det är ju bäst att byta till engelska nu. Den 20 minuter presentation ska vara kanske 2 timmar om jag ska följa på svenska. Jag har redan haft 50 sekunder. And I sometimes, when I try to use my Swedish for a few minutes, I always remember my Swedish teacher. I had once opportunity to say something in Swedish in the Finnish news, and I right away received a message from her that, it was great to see you, but you made 2 mistakes. And I think that applies actually to innovation as well. You actually do quite often mistakes, and also if you look at the similar countries, Finland and Sweden, but you look at what we do, you can see that in the past, in the history, we have succeeded in many things, but we have also failed in many things, and that's why I also see that it's very useful actually to look at our examples. I won't spend many minutes telling you about the Finnish healthcare system. As you can see from the program, I have only 20 minutes time, or even less with the presentation. So I will very quickly kind of tell you a few words how I see what is happening in the world. I have to say that more and more I think that the role of state, the question of my presentation, and I have to say that I've been thinking of it for nearly a decade already. I had the opportunity to be in the Prime Minister's office in Finland in 2004 in the so-called globalization report, but basically that was competitiveness report around innovation and so on. And many of the reforms we proposed at that time have been now implemented and done, but nevertheless, every single year I find that this topic is somehow new, it's somehow challenging, and to answer the question that what should Finland or what should Sweden do in this changing world at the moment, it's difficult. And one of the reasons why it's difficult is that there's of course a very huge competition. In the times when the first telephone or first camera was invented, there was basically one patent. In the telephones now, or mobile phones, there are tens of thousands of patents, and the process of innovation is totally something different what we expected. I have to also say that I had opportunity a few years ago to work for a while in the software industry, and also there, if I recall the thinking we had around innovation in the software and hardware field in 2007, 2008, we can see now that actually no one of us predicted, for example, the success of Apple and the great change in the industry. And it's again very interesting to see that what happens in next few years. As I already said, it's very difficult, and I look at all the time, for example, how hard in Finland Tekes, VINNOVAs, let's say, sister organization in Finland is working. There are hundreds of people working really hard to think that how should we spend this public funding, what is the most efficient way for our economy, for the enterprises, how we create actually the most amount of added value to the society. And it's not easy. There are a couple of the key things, and I think these are really well also seen in VINNOVA's new strategy, there are many similarities, of course, what I speak, and I see these are well taken care of in the strategy. I underline the role of markets. If the markets are not considered and the opportunities for business and opportunities for growth, then it's always challenging. I think already when I was here a few years ago, I underlined, and I think we sometimes miss it, that it's finally the people who innovate, the individual persons. And we have to see that it's not the organizations, it's the people behind. And of course, for Finnish and Swedish welfare societies, it's education. We are very strong in that. We have created great competencies. You can actually see it now when we are having a great structural reforms due to the, let's say, changing situation of Nokia and its competitive edge in the market. You can see that once there are hundreds of competent people around the country, actually there are tens of interested companies globally to come and place their activities in Finland. So I think education and the great competencies people are having, this is really something which is important. And if you look at the Nokia example during the last year, you can find that. But it's also important that we keep working very, very hard. I just say it quickly that I don't like always this division between basic and applied research. I think that this is something which, and in Finland we also find this discussion very often, that there are people in the Ministry of Education underlining the basic research side and universities, and then maybe the Ministry of Employment and Economy, like where I used to be, underlining the applied research side and the market-oriented research. I don't see it that way at all. I think that the strong science base is extremely important actually to come up with the knowledge, ideas, technology, IP, and so on. The links here are the global links. I think that one of the great challenges we still have left, all those nearly every single report in last 5 to 10 years in the Finnish innovation system has underlined the opening up of our country in that sense. I think there's still a lot to do. Now, fortunately, the new government is also underlining the foreign direct investment side, and I think this relates highly to innovation policy. Public funding, yes, but I think that it is really crucial always to look at the market failure side. Always when you are especially active in the let's say business and market-oriented innovation system, I understand that there's of course a lot of public research and a lot of objectives also to, for example, to enhance the let's say in the healthcare field, for example, the public system. Incentives, and what I like actually a lot in the VINNOVA strategy as well, that you have clear visions. You have made some policy choices, and this is important. So people, there are of course, or how should I say it? I think also Laura Hartman earlier here tried to describe that who should decide. Is it the top-down approach or bottoms-up? I think it's actually both. And the ones who can combine this bottom-up and top-down approach with policy choices and all those ideas coming from the experts on the ground, those are going to win. And the atmosphere is important. I think that in Finland, our atmosphere in the society is not the best or the optimal at the moment. You have to have a positive drive, believe that things are not going to be easy in the future, but on the other hand, we can succeed again. And you have to be open to the foreign labor force and foreign ideas and foreign investments. This is one of my favorite pictures. I won't have enough time to spend with it, but I just would like to pay a lot of attention to the market failure. These are all kind of key policy measures we, for example, have in the Finnish innovation system. And more outside you go, you can actually see that there's a bigger market failure. The instruments in the middle are, in my view, more more market-oriented, and I believe actually that the incentive side and the role of states is very crucial to kind of guarantee that the balance is right. And it's a long process. The states need to kind of define that what is their role in general information generation. I actually believe that in the Finnish innovation system we have a lot of general information and knowledge creation, but I'm not sure how well we actually push the good ideas. And I think this now comes to the question that you have the bottom-up and top-down approach, especially in this idea and invention field, how you combine this approach so that you can finally come up with inventions, innovations, and get to the market. And of course, there's also the side, as I said, that some part of the public funding, in our case, I believe actually quite significant one, especially in the healthcare field, goes to raising productivity in the health system. But I'm quite critical about that because I see that we have invested even hundreds of millions of euros money to actually increase the productivity in our healthcare system. But at the same time, the politicians and policymakers, maybe myself in the history, kind of thought that yes, it's possible to reform the healthcare system by kind of investing in innovation there. But I think that, for example, the Finnish case, we have not reformed the system, but we have invested a lot of money into the system through our innovation agencies like STEKES and Sitra and the Finnish Academy. But I don't think that actually those innovations or those investments can ever pay off if you haven't reformed your healthcare system so that it's efficient enough. And on the other side, then I think that was the previous slide. The previous slide was about the healthcare systems and healthcare system and of course the productivity there. But I think then the big question also in the healthcare field is that who are going to be the innovation owners. In Finland, I think even the figure 3 billion euros is a bit small one. This is a figure which is about the amount of money we have invested in the last 10 years to healthcare-related research, development, and innovation. It might be even actually a bit more. And it basically is invested through TEKES, a little bit less than 100 million a year. I think to year 2008 it was 89 million. Through Finnish Academy, through universities and university hospitals, Sitra and others. People kind of always, and I think we're going to invest about the 3 billion also in the next 10 years. And I think one crucial question is that today is the time to think that how to invest that next 3 billion, which is actually a huge amount of money. I've already referred to some of the weaknesses in our healthcare innovation policy. I think I don't say that we have failed. We have generated a lot of information, knowledge, competencies. There are a lot of positive side about the healthcare research and development process, but we can clearly say that no big breakthroughs. Our system is too decentralized. We haven't seen the reforms. We have very imbalanced market development due to the fact that 300 local communities actually are responsible of healthcare services. We have had a very weak IP system, intellectual property system. That's the main reason why we don't have AstraZeneca's or Novo's and others. We have, maybe the wording is not right, but I would still use sporadic project-based research and innovation systems. So a lot of like bottoms-up approach, but I think we would need more clear policy choices. We would need to create large centers of excellence around those policy choices. We are quite weak in foreign direct investment, especially as foreign direct investment in relation to research, development, and innovation. I think this is a spending like, let's say, the Finnish Academy, nearly 350-400 million, TEKES 600 million euros annually to R&D, public R&D. I think it's crucial to think that not that this is some kind of like funding, just funding based on applications or in our programs. Of course, the programs are already policy choices, but how you actually can match that with private money and private investments. So it's not always like linking public money to private money, but it's thinking that, yes, we have this amount of public money, how can we actually get partners from the private side to put more? And I'm not sure actually, I don't have any scientific evidence, but I have a feeling that we spend actually quite a bit of the money at the moment to general development, especially the service side. Services are of course big. That's what we also discussed few years ago when I was in the software industry. Software as service, cloud, and that has happened. But nevertheless, I believe actually that we might see in the 5-10 years that if we go too far, just to generally develop the companies, their processes, and so on, and just we have strong focuses in services, countries, export-oriented countries like Finland as well as Sweden, I'm not sure that this strategy, if we go too far, is the right one. So how should we use the 3 billion? This is my last slide. I think that if you just look at the green ones, long-term research investment in the university and university hospitals. I actually envy the way how you have done it here in Karolinska. I think we would have opportunity for example, in the University of Helsinki and the University Hospital of Helsinki to do something similar. They are really a center of excellence. I have already underlined the top-down and bottoms-up approach combination. I actually believe that, and I have been in tens of seminars where we tell that about the Nordic mobile phone saga. This is the way how we combined strategically our R&D investments. This is the way how we regulate. This is how we regulated the market, and great success. It was a great success, but I have interviewed many, and I'm not sure that was kind of strategic decision before to do really that. There was a lot of luck behind, and that was great. Now we have told hundreds of visitors all over the world how we made it, how we succeeded, but I think it would be time to do it again. If we did it 20 years ago, we could have done it many times more, and I think that actually the healthcare market in the Nordic countries, as we have similar healthcare systems, the private market is at the moment developing. We have the new patient directive. I think might be that Karolinska is already on that path, but we could be jointly. And that's why I also think that discussing the healthcare market regulation is very important. Individuals want today to invest more and more to their health. Cooperation with global partners, I kind of see that if you create those centers of excellence well, you can create this sustainability model that you can actually attract foreign investors. They take risk. The public funding is, of course, taking risk. But you have agreements with respect to IP policy and others that if you succeed, the money is flowing back to the universities and this. And in that way also, not only by the research, everyday research, benefiting the healthcare system, but also in the long run, the investments can flow back in. And I'm underlining that still the question of IP. I'm at the moment in a project where we try to look at the demand-based innovation policy, especially in the pharma market in Finland. And I think such an interesting question that if you regulate your market in a way, or your reimbursement system would actually look at it in a way that it kind of pays attention to the new innovations, would that also kind of end up in a situation where the Finnish market is seen as innovation policy positive market globally by the pharma industry? At the moment, it isn't. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mikko. Please, let me put you here where the light is a lot better. Thank you. Do we have a question for Mikko? while you think about it. You told us that it's you can't just pour money into the sector without reforming it. Then this was kind of a no good example. If you would to tell us a good example of a state or a country who has done this in a very good way, and you can't say Sweden.
Maybe Netherlands.
Netherlands?
That's maybe the example which is used the most in Europe. I'm not that familiar with all the details, but I have to say that although you don't let me mention Sweden, but I have to say that you have done a lot more than we have done. And so in Finland, I believe that people have kind of expected that through Tekes and Sitra investments to the healthcare system, you are actually able to raise significantly productivity and reform the system. But we can see today that that's not the case. You have to keep reforming, and that is, of course, the responsibility of the Ministry of Social Affairs and Health to reform the system. So the innovation cannot ever replace kind of the need to put the system in best possible order. I kind of see that if we would do it, it would be easy to establish and have 3-4 like really high quality university hospitals with universities, high profile research. It would be still able to have a very well and efficient like public, private, local service network. It would be able to attract foreign investments and open up. I actually believe that that type of system is better for the patients. It's better for the state in the long run as well.
So you have quite a lot of homework to do.
We have a lot to do. That's why it's so interesting to be here today.
Yes. Mikko Alkio, thank you very much for coming here.
Thanks.